You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, would you look at that? We stepped back into 2005 tonight as the Astros and Cardinals played one of the longest games in NL Central history for 9 innings of baseball. But all that matters is the Astros got the win. They secure the series victory tonight over those Cardinals 8-5. Welcome into the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. Thank you for joining us. Always appreciate it. If you're new to the channel tonight, please hit the subscribe button. We're with you almost every single game that the Astros play. We'll do this all year long. Rockets, Texans, Cougs, and the Astros. We got you covered here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. The Astros got what they needed. We got a lot to get into, including getting to the reaction of earlier in the day that Christian Javier is done from the report from Chandler Rome with Tommy John surgery, which will be confirmed by the Astros tomorrow. I don't know why they wouldn't just confirm it tonight, but that's the Astros, and that's what they do. They are stuck in the 1980s when it comes to media relations sometimes. But today's episode, real quick, is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So, again, thank you for joining us tonight. I, by the way, am Michael Connor, your host, as you can see there. My name down there, I'm scrolling my mouse over it like, you can see that. I'm not sharing my screen, so you can't see that. You can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever, Connor Michael, where we talk about it during the game. And we're just going to get to it right off the top here. The most pressing issue of the baseball game tonight. And I'm going to call out some folks because you know what? I'm feeling it tonight. It's one of those nights. I'm a little bit tired. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I had to take my wife to the airport all the way out of Bush. We live an hour away from Bush. So I'm a little bit tired, and I'm a little bit on edge. And tonight, the social media world got me going a little bit. The pressing issue of the night is the Mauricio Dubon play in right field, where Dubon went up and absolutely should have made that catch, but his glove ran into a fan. I'm going to say it right now. And I'm going to say for all the people in the back, for all the people that are engagement farming on the internet, on X, Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it. Look at you, Michael Schwab. That was not fan interference. Not fan interference. He went up, and the fan didn't reach over the field. It sucks. I tweeted that they should ban the fan, and I did it in all caps, and it just is amazing how quickly that goes over people's head. Like, it was sarcasm. You're not banning the fan for protecting his face in his seat where he's not reaching over the stands to make a play. It's wild to me that, honestly, of all the things that happened in the game tonight, the number one thing on social media, of course, is the fact that the Dubon play happened. And look, it probably doesn't get that way if Dubon doesn't get so animated. And he got animated with that right there. It happened. Yes, his glove got hit, but his glove went into the crowd. The fans are allowed to make a play on the ball when it's in the crowd. That's not fan interference. The fan didn't do anything wrong there. And I hope that guy doesn't get identified, and I do hope that he's not getting crushed and sent messages or whatever it is online because he does not deserve that. If you were in the same spot, you would have put your hands up too to try and catch that baseball because guess what? Have you ever been on the back end of a baseball coming at you like that when you have just bare hands? Well, I can promise you this. You're going to want it to hit your bare hands over your face. So that's all I'm saying. I just, I love the fact that of all the issues in the not even issues, of all the things in the baseball game tonight, the one conversation that got people going more than anything else was that. And it was unbelievable. Now let's talk about the actual baseball game instead of the engagement farmers, because I love those people on the internet. Stop following that guy. I don't know why you do. He has no connections at all. Dumb. The Astros tonight are getting a victory that they had to have. They are getting themselves closer to a place where you're going to start feeling better again, and they get a series win. We've talked about that a lot. You have to stack series wins on top of series wins, and that's exactly what they did. And there's a lot of beautiful things in this baseball game tonight. Now, pitching-wise, you don't love it. Thank goodness, first of all, this month of June is very, very team-friendly in terms of days off. They got a lot of days off in this month. They have a day off on Thursday, so, wearing out the bullpen a little bit because Arrighetti gets the comebacker there on a hard-hit baseball, and he left with a leg contusion. The Astros can't take any more hits when it comes to starting pitching because here's the truth. Dana Brown yesterday said it, and if he's actually being honest about it and saying, we're going to be buyers at the deadline, they're going to have to buy a starting pitcher if they're actually going to be buyers. They don't have enough, and they're lacking now with the news of today, which we'll get to in a bit. Christian Javier. And the inevitable news for Jose Urquidy as well. They can sit here and get second opinions or whatever. We all know what's coming. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But they have to get these series wins, and it's okay to run through the pitching a little bit tonight because, this team, they've got that day off built in on Thursday. But really it was the bats tonight that you loved. You absolutely loved it. I would love it if these games weren't so stressful at times. Simple as that. They have they have a good knack for taking games that could be easy victories at times and making them a little bit nerve-wracking. And it's a bit annoying when that happens. It truly is. I mean, I know that Brian Abreu's numbers have been coming back down, but honest to God, you can put your answers in the comments. Are you confident at all when Brian Abreu comes into a baseball game? I already know we're not with Ryan Presley right now. I know that that's the case. Which Ryan Presley came in tonight, bang, bang, boom, he's done. 1, 2, 3 inning, gets a save. Congratulations to him. I bet that felt good to get a save opportunity tonight. I want to know how you feel when Abreu comes in. For real. It's just nothing with him is easy. Nothing with him is clean. And I know that he strikes him after, he walks one there. But it's just like, come on, man. And he's pitching, 3 days, 3 times in the last four the third time in the last 4 days, I said easily. And it is what it is. But the bullpen tonight wasn't spectacular. Now, look, most of the runs you gave up were from Taylor Scott, of course, who's actually been really good for the Astros this year. He's been one of the unsung heroes, one of the guys that doesn't get talked about enough. Seth Martinez gave up a run. He's been great this season, though, overall. Mashinsky, he's got moments when he comes up where he looks okay, but tonight he was just giving up hard contact left and right. And then those back two guys did their job overall. Abreu came back out and was better in the next inning than he was in his inning before. But that's that is what it is. And then, like I mentioned, Presley going out there and doing his thing as well. But what you love to see tonight is guys in the lineup getting going. We saw a little bit of that last night. And one of them in particular who was a hero last night is Yainer Diaz. How important is it for this club to have Yainer Diaz performing at that level? We will discuss in a short second here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. But right now, I got to remind you about FanDuel. The NBA Finals are coming up this week. Yeah, that's right, Thursday. Unfortunately, it features that team from Dallas that we all don't like, and the team from Boston. Might be the first time ever that Houston rallies completely around Boston. They will. And you could bet on those games by going to FanDuel.com. That's right, FanDuel.com to get in on the action when it comes to the NBA Finals coming up this weekend. It's a big, big time event. It's winner take all in those NBA and the NHL. And FanDuel's got your shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Locked On Astros Postcast here with you on a Tuesday night after the Astros pick up a series win against the St. Louis Cardinals. How nice is that? I don't know where you guys are at this point when it comes to fandom with the Astros and like teams that you love to hate. obviously growing up in this city, if you're in my generation, which, I'm in my 30s now, and they played in the NL Central, and those were a lot of great years playing in that NL Central, you don't like the Cardinals very much. I hate the Cardinals. I have an uncle that loves the Cardinals, grew up a Cardinals fan. I always like to mess with him. But I just never could stand the Cardinals, from Scott Rowland to Jim Edmonds and his punchable face to Albert Pujols, or to, whoever it was at that time, Larry Walker going over there and crushing the Astros, or, one of the grossest things still in the history of time is Lance Berkman winning a World Series for the St. Louis Cardinals. Just gross. Hey, you know what, though? It's not that gross. He beat the Rangers. After all these years, I'm okay with it. You enjoy that ring, Lance. Enjoy that ring. You beat the Rangers in that one and allowed the Astros to be the first team in Texas to win a World Series. So he actually was doing the Astros a favor. But man, oh man, playing the Cardinals again just brings up it brings up the memories, of course. The number one is Lidge, getting up the home run to Pujols. But those days are done. Thank goodness Pujols isn't there anymore. Finally, literally the majority of my life was spent watching Albert Pujols play against the Astros, like most of you. I think about that all the time, is how many years of my life he played in Major League Baseball. And not only playing against the Astros, but absolutely crushing the Astros. He played in the big leagues from 2001 to 2022. And he basically did all of that but one full year not in the Astros division. That was his first year with the Angels. His entire career, and then the brief stint with the Dodgers. But he did play with the Angels that year. And then he played with St. Louis that last year. I think they might have played St. Louis that year. I think they might have. But 2001, I was in 5th grade. Yeah, that's crazy. He's not there anymore. But what matters tonight is the Astros won, and the Astros are on the right path, it appears, to winning some baseball games, which is great. The offensive explosion, to an extent, is what we all need to see consistently, correct? Yes, that is correct. And you go throughout the lineup tonight, whether it's, hey, look, his at-bats have still not been good today, but Jose Altuve had a couple of hits. That's good. He's still swinging way too much out of the zone. Right now, he'd just go down swinging at that slider down in the way. It's bad. Bregman hits the ball hard again. Yordan Alvarez has a couple of more hits. I think he's back. I think we can officially say that. Jake Myers is cooling off a little bit, but he still drove in a run tonight. Great night at the plate for Jeremy Pena and in the field. He needed one of those nights. Hopefully that bottles it up a little bit and he gets going. But the guy that you got to watch for here, he homered last night late with the big 2-run home run, being Yainer Diaz. And we talked about him last night. 2 nights in a row now. Pokes went out to right field. Yainer Diaz has the power to be a 30 home run bat. He hit 22, 23 home runs, whatever it was last year, his rookie year, when he barely played half the time. And we should still, for some reason, be thanking Dusty Baker for that and playing Martin Maldonado all the time. Wasted one of Yainer Diaz's pre-arbitration years by not playing him much. Yainer Diaz hit 23 last year. So he's hit 5 now on the season because he's hit 2 in the last 2 days, which is fantastic. The Astros need him to do that. Or he's hit 4. Is it 5 or 4 on the season? He's hit 4 on the season. Hey, it's 5. Look at me. I'm all over the place with numbers tonight. It's just one of those. I'm telling you, the Dubon thing and social media got me going. It's 5 home runs on the season for Yainer Diaz. But they need him to absolutely get going. I talked about the construction of the lineup last night. Now, look, no Tucker today. You're not going to get Tucker again tomorrow. I think you have to hope that he comes back on Friday is the case. And then if not, at what point do you consider just going to the injured list because you can get a body back up here, which they did bring up Trey Cabbage today, sent Gray Kessinger out, which, props to Gray Kessinger. He pulled off he pulled off 2 full months of MLB service time. Guy didn't even play. He just sat on the bench the whole time. And then he got hurt, and he's been down, but he's still on the 40-man. He's still technically on the big league roster, so he's still getting service time for it. What a gig. Gray Kessinger, look at this. 11 games. He got 11 at-bats. He was up here for 2 months, technically, in service time. That's incredible. What a job. But the top of that lineup, when you got Altuve, Tucker, Jordan, Bregman, if they can get Yainer Diaz going in the right direction and hitting to his capability with the power that he has, he's the 5-hole hitter. And that's something that you want to see. And by the way, real quick, the question there, I keep the comments up. You guys are usually rolling them in way faster than I can keep up with them. But Mr. Thunder asking why is Cabbage up instead of Joey Loperfido. That's just because of playing time. Cabbage isn't going to come here and play. He's going to sit just like Kessinger did. They just like his bat a little bit more, want to see him. And he's got a little bit of pop. He's a left-handed hitter, and you use that. You don't want Joey, like as much as I want Joey Loperfido up here, you can't bring him up and have him here until he's going to play like every day or consistently play 5 out of 7 days out of the week if they're playing 7 games that week. Like, that's just a simple fact. You're stunning his growth if he doesn't play. So, like, you have to have him go play games. We all know the end game here eventually. You'd think they need to be exposing him more to first base. They haven't been playing him a lot of first base since he went back to the minor leagues. But the Jose Abreu situation coming to a head, at some point, and then you could bring Loperfido back. You need to play him at first. Simple as that. Or DH himself, whatever it might be. You got to get him in the lineup somehow, though, if he comes back up here. But the Astros right now need Yainer Diaz badly. And it's nice to see that he looks like a baseball player again, because for a while there it was bad. And it's still not great. I mean, he's not out of it. It's not a quick fix. We all know that. It's going to take a minute to get him all the way back, and that's okay. I think we can all, understand that in those moments. Like, that's where he's at right now in this given moment. Is he's trying to fight his way back. For all the just getting worn out that Joe Espada has done from the fan base, those 2 days that he gave off to Yainer Diaz, about the best 2 days in a row that you could give anybody off, right? Looks pretty good right now from Joe Espada. And some of you may need to apologize to the man. I'm not serious, of course, but look, Joe Espada does get worn out a little bit from the fans, and, deservedly so. He's the manager of the team. I don't think all of his decisions are decisions that are keeping them from winning baseball games. I think his team just stinks this year, and they're inconsistent, and they don't do things well, and that's not necessarily his fault. But tonight, I think we can credit Joe Espada for giving Yainer Diaz 2 days off in a row, because he has come back and looked fantastic since doing that. Let's talk about the news of the day when it comes to the pitching and what it means. And as I mentioned, trade deadline, the effects it's going to have on that. And we'll talk about that here in just a brief moment on the Locked On Astros Postcast. But first, passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Locked On Astros Postcast on a Tuesday night following the second of 3 between the Astros and the Cardinals this week. Astros 8-5 victory, and they are moving on up, baby. They're getting closer to 500 again. They are 28-34 at this very moment as I hit refresh on the MLB.com standings page. The Astros are 6.5 out on the division. They are a game and a half out of second place, which is the Texas Rangers, who are in that spot. I believe, yes, they did lose tonight to the Detroit Tigers. The Mariners, by the way, are in action against the Athletics, of course, and they are winning 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th. So Ryan Stanek's pitching right now for the Mariners. Hopefully he blows up and gives up a bunch of runs. He's got a runner on first with, well, never mind. He just got to double play the innings over. Never mind. Thanks, Ryan. Way to go, buddy. You're supposed to help out your former team, not hurt them. It's okay. You got work to do. You still got to get back to 500 and then build your cushion your space between you and 500 consistently. Simple as that. The news of the day, by the way, which was before the game, is the fact that I'm sorry, I was just getting distracted. I was reading the comments again. The news of the day was Christian Javier being out, of course, with the injury, and the Astros have kind of danced around it. They have not given out a lot of information. Look, they are not an organization that gives out a lot of information. For what reason, I don't know. I know some of the PR people that are still there. They're great people. They're very friendly. I just think there's a philosophy that is put in place by somebody else in the organization of not being open to anything, and they just don't do it. I don't see the point of hiding behind it, but that's just their philosophy. I think the way they handle some of the things at times can be a little silly. Is the easiest way to put it. But we all knew what was coming. I mean, look, he goes down with forearm discomfort. I was in spring training. This is the first year for me personally since 2016 that I did not make a trip to Astro spring training. I'm not on the radio anymore. There's no reason for me to go at this point, so I'm not going to go. But when I was in spring training ahead of the 2022 season, I was talking to somebody at the time that is still with the organization that has never steered me in the wrong direction, never tells me things that aren't true. If he's telling me, it's spot on. And I never, honestly, of all the things I've heard about throughout the years, I've never put any of them out there because I just don't want to. I have also, if you're going to be a journalist, which I'm not a journalist, you're supposed to get multiple sources. I have one person that would tell me things. And what I heard in 2021 was going into that season was that they were already concerned with the elbow. I mean, look, they knew his pitching motion would always lead to the fact that his elbow is going to get worn down probably pretty quickly. They gave him an extension, which doesn't, mean a lot, I guess, overall. I mean, it wasn't excessive money, but man, they love to hand out extensions to guys that get hurt or guys that underperform or something. They are not very good at this extension game. Maybe that's why they don't give them to the other guys. Oh, wait, that's going to be the reasoning why they don't give it to Kyle Tucker. Well, we're not very good at these other ones. Why would we give one to him? But I heard that then, that, hey, Tommy John's on the table. And I was like, what? And then he pitched all year. And he was good. He was really good. He was dominant. Last year wasn't so dominant, in part because he was fat and out of shape. But you could see it this year. Early on he was good, but then the velocity started to tick down quickly. And it's a significant blow. They needed him to be part of this. They needed him to be the number 3 or pitch like a number 2, like he's capable of doing. Between him and now Jose Urquidy, who's not even going to get a pitch off for this team this year. And honestly, man, you look back on it, the value that you didn't execute on anything Jose Urquidy and his years of control, being able to trade him away, they should have. I know that they tried on multiple occasions. They were going to send him to the Cubs for Wilson Contreras. Like, that deal was done until, Dusty got in the mix and fought with James Click, and that was the downfall of James Click, and it was over. Worked out. They got Christian Vasquez. I know that the Red Sox right now are doing pretty good with Wilyer Abreu, but you do that. Would you do that trade again every day? Yeah, the Astros won a World Series and Christian Vasquez drove in a run in the decisive game. Of course, you do it again. That championship stays up there forever. They can have that prospect on their team that's barely 500. But it's a significant blow not having Javier, not having Urquidy. And Dana Brown is going to really have to, if they're going to be all in and they're going to do this, so we're going to trade, we're going to do things, which I'm going to be honest with you. I'm done with the buying at the deadline, because how much more can you deplete a farm system that's completely depleted when you hired a guy named Dana Brown, who you said you're hiring because you want him to replenish the farm system? Like, I mean, I know that they don't have highly touted prospects, but at some point you're going to have to stop trading them away. But that's the spot that they're stuck in the win now type of mode. And this team's not good enough at this moment to go out and trade a bunch of prospects to add to it. It'd be silly to. I'm going to be honest. It'd be silly to. You better off just rolling with Hunter Brown, rolling with Spencer Arrighetti, hoping these guys stay healthy, and that's it, honestly. But when it comes to trade deadline, they're going to be looking at starting pitching if they're actually going to be out there trying to buy. They have this month to convince, I think, me that they're worthy of going out and doing that. I know I don't make the decision, but at this moment, like if I got Dana Brown's job tomorrow, I would go, we're not buying anything at the deadline. In fact, we keep hovering around here. I'm going to sell off a few things. Honestly, replenish a little bit, recharge for next year. It's okay to admit when a year is defeated, but they've got the month. They've got the month. June is the decisive month. If they get through this month and aren't better than what they are, which is a team that's below 500, if they don't come out of this month either right at 500 or a couple of games over 500, I'm out on wanting to try and make a run. Why? So you can lose in the wild card round? Okay. I know that it matters for your gate. It matters for your money that you make, but I'm good. Replenish the system. Get some younger faces in there. It's okay. It's all right. We've done it before in this city. We've all watched it. I know that we can pull it off again. Tomorrow, day game against the Cardinals. Looking for the sweep in this one. Should be a fun one, of course. I think they got this. It feels like they're due for a sweep, and it feels like the Cardinals are primed for one. Ronel Blanco, Miles Michaelis. It's a 1:10 first pitch. We should be good to go for me to be with you as soon as the game ends. If anything changes, of course, I'll send you out a tweet. So follow me on X or Twitter. It's Twitter. I'm not doing the X thing. It's Twitter. At Connor Michael, which you see there. If you're new to the channel tonight, of course, thank you for joining us. Always hit the subscribe button. You can find this show anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros. You get this show and the Locked On Astros show. Eric and Brett, who do a great job with the Locked On Astros podcast every day. They will take you for theirs as well. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon after Astros and Cardinals, the Locked On Astros Postcast.